Hello students, welcome to week 3 for PRL 550. This week we are looking at PR research and how it relates to our course content and our public relations campaign we're working on. As we look at the week 3 agenda, you'll see we're reading chapter 5 of the course text, as well as reading an attached PDF that's titled 3 Reasons Why Research is Crucial to PR. We're watching one video that looks at building brands and how that is influential within public relations, as well as completing discussion board number 3, which is due on Friday, and reply posts are due on Sunday, and PR campaign activity number 3 as well. When you look at discussion board number 3, we're looking at the reading from chapter 5. We're taking some time to reflect and write about the prompt that we have that's related specifically to this chapter. So as you read chapter 5, spend some time thinking about communication channels and how they relate to what information is presented in the chapter this week. You need to look at how some have changed over time, how they've changed as you've been communicating with people in and outside your family, as well as how they may have looked different from the time as you've consumed them as a child until now. You need to look at how communication and PR efforts are influenced when you make purchases yourself. We're looking at this as a personal reflective discussion board. So we will have obviously outside sources and such because that is required, but we will be using those sources to support some of our personal reflections and thoughts related to the content. Do not forget your post should be at minimum 400 words. Your reply post should be at minimum 200 words, and your initial post is due on Friday with replies due on Sunday. PR campaign activity number 3 asks you to start to develop secondary research. For the sake of time in our course, unfortunately, we do not have the time to conduct actual primary research. Just the nature of our accelerated format with 8 weeks makes that near impossible. So what we do require students to do is to use secondary research as they develop their campaign. Remember, as you complete this secondary research, it's important that it helps you develop and support the efforts of what the focus of your campaign is, so you can use information that helped you develop your competitor or situation analysis to clearly articulate what research is out there about your topic. We'll get more into what PR research is in a second after we go through the assignment requirements for this assignment. So this assignment requires you to find 10 outside sources, primarily scholarly sources and case studies, that support your type of campaign, your topic, and desired outcomes of your campaign. Specifically, the research used should determine that there is not just necessarily a need for your campaign, but provide examples of PR efforts that support your desired plan, your communication plan for this campaign. So it's twofold. You should have not only information that supports the need for the campaign, but also justifies the efforts that you will make in the campaign. So as we get into goals and objectives and tactics in the coming weeks, your research section should also support that as well. This will be organized in the form of an annotated APA bibliography. The next slide will provide valuable information on how that will look. When you're in the Blackboard learning module, you'll see in the assignment itself, it has actual videos that help explain how to format an annotated bibliography using APA if you have not already. So there'll be definitely information in there to help you do that. As you develop your APA annotated bibliography, you need to provide a 2-paragraph description and reflection for each source. This gives me a chance to look at those 10 sources you've collected over this week and help me to see, okay, this is what this source is about. This is what they want to use this source for. Please include how each source ultimately helps your campaign and supports your research efforts. That should be included in the 2-paragraph description. As you look at an annotated bibliography, you can see I've attached a sample here. Obviously, the coloring of the fonts and such are not appropriate according to APA. They are 2 different colors just to highlight it here for the sake of example so you can see the difference between the source itself and then what the actual annotation is. So an annotated bibliography helps you develop annotations and organize the sources you have in any given assignment. This is very academic assignment. It's not necessarily utilized in public relations in this form or fashion. Normally your secondary research will be presented in a multitude of ways depending on what firm or company you work for and how they see it fit. We use this as an academic exercise because this is what we'll be doing moving forward and going into some of our critical assignments and capstones. In your final capstone paper you'll ultimately write for the PR program. The purpose of this assignment is to showcase the secondary research about your campaign topic. Your source sources should come from any of the listed sources below: scholarly journals, academic websites, academic texts, trade books. Those are industry-specific books that support your topic or are related to what work you do in public relations or communications. Reputable websites like PRSA or NCA, case studies, PR case studies, news releases, annual reports, and actual campaign analyses that are found on company websites. So if you know you are going to do a campaign that looks at the harmful nature of smoking or secondhand smoke, you may find actual research or information or case studies about the Truth Campaign that shedded the light of truth on what smoking really is in America, and you can use that as a source. Things like that. So an annotated bibliography has the APA citation it begins with, and then indented twice you have your 2-paragraph annotation, which is a summary that tells the reader what the source is about and how it relates to what your research is and what your topic is for your campaign. That is it in a nutshell. So this provides you with a good overview of what it is. You do need to go through the 2 videos that are attached to the assignment itself in Blackboard. That gives you more specific and detailed instructions if you're not familiar with an annotated bibliography. If you're at all confused about how to complete this, please reach out early in the week. It's very important. This assignment is time consuming. It does take a significant amount of time to develop your annotations and find your sources. It's not something that is easily completed in one setting, so don't wait until the weekend to complete it. Reach out early if you have some questions about how to format your annotations and such. PR research. We read about this extensively last week in Chapter 4. We're applying it this week now that we've gone through all the material. So it's important that we spend some time as a class discussing this. PR research consists of primary and secondary research. Specifically, primary research consists of research you're conducting on your own to learn a multitude of things that are relevant to your campaign or your communication efforts. Primary research sometimes is called verification research because it often answers most or all of the questions that could not be answered in conducting a situational or competitor analysis. It provides an opportunity either to confirm or refute preliminary assumptions and presents additional information that will be used in selecting the proper channels of communication for your campaign. Secondary research is research you are using that already exists to support your campaign efforts, but you did not conduct it yourself. Really, secondary research refers to the types of research that one gathers information on that has already been conducted. You, as college students, especially graduate students, should already be very familiar with this type of research because you use it most often in all of your work. You're using secondary information, meaning information that's already out there that supports what you want to say about something, to help corroborate and help the reader know, yes, I mean this about something, and I have the support from this source, this secondary research, to help confirm that what I am saying has already been said, already been conducted, already been proven, and it's not just an opinion. It has some support behind it. So this type of research is very similar to the types of research you conduct in most of your courses because it deals with things like history, information that's out there in the scholarship. This form of research helps to complete research quickly. It helps to provide validity to what you're doing, and it also helps you reach your research objectives, which leads us into our next point. So research objectives refer to the questions raised by background research, that's your situational and competitor analysis, that you hope to answer within your research section of a campaign. For example, to determine what factors go into the customers' purchasing decisions, or to determine the level of confidence that community residents have in the mass transit system, those are research objectives that help you identify what you're looking for to provide validity to your campaign, as well as all aspects of what the tactics and goals and objectives are. To do that, most research objectives will fall into 4 broad categories. Now, I'm not asking you to specifically state this. You obviously can within your research section of your final draft, but I'm looking for this as you complete your annotated bibliographies this week. In addition to assuring that your sources are reputable and meet the needs and conditions of what were listed in previous slides of being scholarly or case study or things of that nature, I'm also going to see how it fits into 4 broad categories. Ultimately, your research will help you pull out goals and objectives that we're going to get into next week, and then help you pull out tactics, the things we're going to do in our campaign, which we'll get into in week 5. So the 4 broad categories I'm looking for your research to fall within are consumer habits and purchasing decisions, media habits, attitudes, beliefs, and opinions, and existing knowledge. So those 4 things should be covered in some way or in some effort within your annotated bibliography. It should be obviously apparent. You don't necessarily have to use all 4. Depending on your campaign, you may use 1, you may use 2, 3, or you may use all of them, but you don't have to have all of them in there. So don't get hung up on that too much. And if you've done a good job at conducting the research and finding the secondary sources, providing a solid annotation for it, you'll clearly be able to see where they fall into one of those 4 areas. Consumer habits and purchasing decisions really tell us what the audience does and why they do what they do. It also tells us what would motivate the audience to change. Media habits are pretty self-explanatory. It tells us which type of media your audience members consume, how much credibility does the audience have to attach to each type of media, and so on and so forth. Attitudes, beliefs, and opinions are the cornerstone of public relations. We know that attitudes can turn into beliefs, and once opinions are formally crystallized, it can significantly impact us in many different ways. So what are your audience's opinions about various topic areas that relate to your topic? How are those opinions influenced? Who are the audience's opinion leaders? And how influential are they in each other's lives? Existing knowledge just really tells us how much does the audience already know about the product or issue. So all of this should be pretty apparent and obvious in your secondary research that you gather. I'll be looking to see how it fits into one of those, and if for some reason all of your sources do not fit into any of those 4, I'll point that out to you in my feedback. I may not be as specific and say this source meets this category and so on and so forth, but I will definitely let you know if your sources do not meet any of the 4 categories. If you have any questions with this, let me know. Please do not hesitate to reach out. This week is pretty formative in developing the relevance and validity of the campaigns we are starting to work on. So as we move through the week 3 agenda, do keep in mind we are reading 2 things, chapter 5, as well as the 3 reasons why research is crucial to PR attachment, watching 1 video on building brands, completing discussion board number 3, which is due by Friday with reply posts due on Sunday, and your PR campaign activity number 3, which is your annotated bibliography. If you have any questions, I look forward to connecting with you this week. Do not hesitate to reach out. I look forward to our interactions and going through your assignments from week 2, which will be updated by Friday. If you have any questions or concerns, please connect with me, and I pray you all have a blessed week.